Hey guys, this is Milkhouse1349 bringing you the HZ watches HZ.01. For those that just want the short answer, here it is. For $200 US, the value presented here is immense and it looks and wears great too, but I'd like to see a few minor iterative changes made to version 2 when that finally releases. So, what is the HZ.01? Here we go. So, zoom out a bit. So the HZ.01 is a go anywhere, do anything watch, which to me is really just a field watch or a dive watch or some watch that you can track time, but it's not a necessary condition of it. Here it's defined by a number of features, including low cost of entry, lightweight titanium case, day-date functions, a legible dial with 5-minute and hour Arabic indices, loomed hands, and hour plots, sapphire crystal, 100-meter water resistance, and a quartz movement. Here you can see I have it on an aftermarket rubber strap, right, made by Barton, and it comes with this leather strap for the price, right? The leather strap reminds me of something you'd find off of CNS straps, right? Not a bad thing, totally fine for the price point. The buckle is nicely done and is a nice durable design. Otherwise, I'd say wear it on this and then switch out the clasp for another strap. So here are my observations, having worn this for a couple days now, and see what you think. Before I start, I purchased this because I like the look of it and I like supporting new pop-up brands such as HZ watches. So this is just my observations, for better, for worse, from my experience wearing the watch, and is unsponsored, and Matt, the creator and owner, doesn't know that I'm doing this. As with all of my videos, they're just my own opinion. So, starting with, in no particular order, so the case is titanium, right? So while it is titanium, the rest of the parts are not, and it does have a weight to it, and that weight tends to be centered just in the middle. So, and when you have these other equivalent watches or similar price point watches, right, which we'll get into, they're not really that much heavier, although if I weigh them side by side, you can still feel the weight saving in the HZ.01. Okay, so let's zoom in on the green inner disc here. I think is really nicely done. Concentric rings. The reho as well is really well done with 5-minute Arabic indices, and works really well here with the hour Arabics. Speaking of, the hour numerals here are 3D printed and they look fantastic. The loom on them isn't as fantastic, however, it lasts for all of about 5 minutes, and that's after if you charge it. Whereas the hands, right, have much more super luminova on them, and they last for about 30 minutes. So while I don't know if this is the right answer, what I might propose is applying loom plots to the flanking areas to keep the 5-minute increments. Might be one option, or if not, I'd say take the loom off the hour indices and add a couple more strips or applications to the hour and minute hand. Might be another option, or if you really do need loom plots, then maybe every 15, so at the 60, 15, 30, and 45, put a plot or a square there. Couple options, but as it stands, the result that you get from the current application on the hour indices just really doesn't function as intended. The quick set date and day is handy, right? It's always handy to know what day it is. And in this instance, you have the option of being able to change the date as well as the day independently. You note here that it's a unilinguistic day disk, right? Whereas some you'll find it'll have two languages, so French English, German English, that sort of idea. So, and it's handy because I say in the example of the Timex Q, only the date is changeable, so you have to change the day. Here, just do this right now, right? The date changes, however, you can't change the day, and so you have to spin the hour hand around until you get to the day that you want, and then set it from there. So it is handy that the Ronda quartz that was sourced here allows that function. Along, right, one thing to note is, I'll show here, is we're in the PM now, so just track when the date and the day switch over. So we're starting at the 11, all right, the date's changed over, and the day is, there we go, at the 3. So it takes a little bit for that to switch over, and I imagine that's just a product of the Ronda movement. So next observation, right, the date window and outer ring have polished bezels, but the day window doesn't. And what I mean here is, zoom in, try this actually. You can actually see this right here. So you'll see along the edge, inner edge here, along the green outer ring, right, and around here, these are polished edges. However, the edges here for the date are not. And it seems odd to have that differentiation. Again, just observation. On that note, this window here is too small, right? It just is. It's just slightly too small for the date disk that's been used, whereas I would propose that the day window here is just slightly too big. Yeah, and I'll just leave it at that. Kind of a preference thing for the latter, but for the former, this little port is just slightly too small, I think. Next, the hour hand and maybe the minute hand are too small. So definitely the hour hand should be scaled out, I'd say about 25%, and the minute hand potentially maybe 10%, right? At a glance, well, it seems a little easier to read here as I hold it up with all the light on. At a glance on your wrist, it is somewhat more challenging to see that hour hand. So I'd like to see it scaled out in size just a little bit. So moving on to the case. So you'll see here for the bezel, we have a beveled edge. Now this is all satin finished, and then it recesses back inwards here. This is a really nice touch. I like that it's more than just a flat plain bezel or a polished bezel. I think this looks great and adds just a little bit more intrigue when you look at it than something that would just be flat and round. So as we go back, follow along to the case side here, right? This is again a titanium case, satin finish versus the brushed finish of the central disc, and this looks fantastic. Whoever did the finishing for the case, titanium cases, did a great job, right? Especially these polished edges. There's been a restrained use of polish or high polish finishing, and I think it looks fantastic here. I hope it comes out in the video. And again, the crown, or not again, but the crown is high polished and looks fantastic. You have the HZ logo there, upside down, of course. There we go. It's not a screw down crown, but for the price point, I think that's a preferred option, just because with less expensive watches, you sometimes get what you pay for, and if that screwed tube doesn't quite line up with the crown, it can get stuck or just fail to function, and it's just better if, again, 100-meter water resistant, the seals are there, this will work just as well. So moving to the case back, again, we have that satin finish followed all the way through. Nice application of a screwed down case back. Titanium, water resistant, right? Beat rate and Swiss quartz, and a nice medallion reminiscent of the Grand Seiko, King Seiko era of case back medallions. The case itself is a nice shape. It would have been really easy to just take an off-the-shelf a tonneau or a cushion case, right? Call it a field watch adjacent and you're done. I think this was a nice choice and a better alternative than that easy answer. Finally, interestingly, regular Australian post was used to send this out and arrived via my national postal service. So interesting choice. Usually DHL or UPS or one of the big liability movers are used for this sort of thing. Just something to note depending on where you are. Let's move into our cost comparison here. So I'm going to use Canadian dollars. It runs about 25 to 30% higher than US dollars. Okay, so for comparison, right, we have 3 watches. We have, of course, the HZ.01, which came in at 265 Canadian imported, so just around 200 US dollars. We have the Vero SWQ that came in $10 less at 255 Canadian, so just sub 200 US, and of course the Timex Q, which came in at 240 Canadian. No import charges on that one or shipping charges, and all of these are quartz watches. And of course the Vero is highly reflective, so bear with that. And again, they're just different takes on quartz watch, quartz daily watch at around the same price point. The Vero is their, I guess all Veros are sport watches, but this is their entry-level sport watch. Comes with a phenomenal warranty. It's made or assembled in the United States. You have great lume points, and the lume on them is good for all plots for at least about 30 minutes, I've found. And except the second hand, which the lume on the end looks cool, doesn't last very long, of course. But very different takes on just a grab-and-go daily watch. Interestingly, the Vero does have a screw-down crown, but of course doesn't have all of those features that you find, such as the day date and titanium case and all that. They've opted with this black PVD case. All of these are thin. They'll have quartz movements. Something to keep in mind is the Vero, for example, doesn't have forgoes specific minute markers, right? But doesn't quite line up wherever the hand goes. Even in the HZ, typically between the 45 and the 60 marker here, the second hand is about a 1/4 mil, which I know sounds pretty minor, but it's still noticeable if you're looking or watching it. Is slightly behind the markers. It is in the nature of quartz watch. Next we have the Timex here. Again, a different way of approaching the same beast. We have bidirectional bezel, which is handy for being able to time something quick and easily. And of course you have the date function, but you don't have the added quick set functionality for the date. Here, of course, I have custom strap, and you can typically have to have those made, but you can find a few of them now made by different brands. Vario, for example, does a Timex Q specific strap. Interestingly, the Timex offers an easy change battery compartment, But yeah, this doesn't, also I have the 100 meters water resistant. I'm gonna guess it's probably 30 off the top of my head, whereas the Vero, it doesn't say on the back of it. Pretty sure the Vero is 100 with that and has that screw down crown. All right, so they're just all different takes on it. Features wise, the HZ definitely wins out. It has by far the most features, some functional, some are novelty, I'd say. Oh, another good one, right? The Timex, no sapphire crystal. So yeah, there you have it. This is the HZ.01. Those are my initial impressions, and I'll also post a unboxing video for this, just taking a look at how it comes. Well, something else to keep in mind here, I almost forgot, is the HZ comes with this handy little travel case if you happen to travel with more than one watch. Pops out. Again, for 200 US, there's a ton of value here. So if you're looking for a really robust daily analog watch, or that functions as a go anywhere, do anything answer, then definitely check out HZ watches. This is a fantastic product. It's the first in their line, and the HZ.02 and 03 are said to be en route. If you subscribe to their Facebook page, apparently you can get some pre-production photos. I don't use Facebook, I know, shocking, so I'm not read in on this, but I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to look great. Matt has been taking in feedback for his next iteration, as it sounds anyways, and yeah, congratulations on a great product, Matt. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.